Okay, guys, just to wrap up, here's the old part after I've taken it out. I just wanted to show you kind of what we're dealing with here, what I was talking about with that clogged tube. So as you look in here, this is the tube. This is kind of the vent tube that comes out of the back, and this is what some people talk about getting clogged with either a moth or a mud dauber or something like that. So it could possibly be in that tube. When you get your new one, if you have to buy the whole unit, you're going to get it exactly like this, and this just sort of pulls off. So I look down through there. Of course, there's nothing clogging that, and there's nothing inside that valve. And yeah, I can see down in there better than you guys can. But anyway, sometimes this gets clogged. You'll get a mud dauber in there or something like that. If you can just climb underneath there and remove that cover, and then pull that rubber tube off, it just slides off there. It's not a big deal. And then if there's something clogging this, just take a screwdriver and kind of clean that out, and that may allow your gas tank to vent again, and that may be just a simple fix for you. But all these hookups, this is it. So it'll come with the new tube on that rubber tube that I just took off. This is one of the ports, this is one of the ports, and this is one of the ports. And they're marked on this old unit and on the new units when you get them. And this is what I was talking about with the pink line. The white line is on this one. There's white down here, and then there's a blue one here. And so if you get some paint markers, although it wasn't all that complicated, you don't need to do this, but if you just want to keep the hoses straight, I would get some paint markers, some pink, blue, and white ones, and then mark the hose that attaches to this on the old unit before you remove it. Put a little blue dot on it. Put a little white dot on that one and a pink dot on that one. This is pretty straightforward because it just has a hose coming off. Then this is your vent tube from the gas tank, and that's straightforward. You don't need to mark that. But then your hoses, they just slide back on, little clamps go back on, and everything's good. My new unit solved the problem, and again, the problem was when I pulled up to the gas station, the gas might pump for about, I don't know, 1/10 of a gallon, and then it was clicking off, and the hose was, the tube down where the gas goes into the gas tank, the gas neck, was filling up with gasoline. So if you're having that problem with any early kind of 2000s Toyota, this is specifically a Toyota Sienna, a 2001 Toyota Sienna. And what I've seen online is that most of them are the same. The Camrys, the Corollas, all the cars of those years of the early 2000s, they have very similar systems. They're underneath the cover. You simply remove them, and again, the biggest problem is the vent tube, and there's a clip on the side. There's like two clips. There's one on the top and the bottom, and then there's one on the side, and there's this rinky-dink little plastic ring that goes around, and when you squeeze it, that ring flexes. That is the part where you want to squeeze. You do not want to try to pry those tabs on the top and the bottom. The little plastic tabs, there's little black ones that flip up, and I saw one guy talking about that, but that is not accurate. There's actually these claws that kind of grip around this thing. When they come around, they snap back together, and when you squeeze that, they're right below those squeezing points on that ring, and then the ring will flex out, and then that'll release the tension on the backside, and then they just kind of pop off. But you just got to work that. So put some WD-40 in there, kind of turn it a little bit, turn the hose on there before you start messing with it, and then squeeze those side brackets where it's pretty obvious that that's where your thumb goes, and it flexes that little plastic tab, and then that thing will eventually pop off. Just take your time and take it easy. Take it easy on the hoses. If they're stuck onto these ports, you need to take a little screwdriver and get the old hoses as you're replacing the thing underneath the hose a little bit, and then just, don't go in there and manhandle it like we like to do. We get pissed off, we want to get in there, we want to get a screwdriver, and we want to kind of pry on things. Well, you'll rip those hoses. So just take it easy, just put a little screwdriver underneath them, just a tiny little standard screwdriver, or what, and then just kind of pry the hoses, and then they'll just slip off. So anyway, that's the old unit. There it is. That's all there is to it. There's 3 bolts that hold it on. There's 2 on this side, and then there's 1 on this side right here underneath the car once you get the cover off. And then there's those clips. There's a clip here, right here, and then there's a clip over here for your electrical connection. And what I found was, again, it's hard to get back behind here, but if you can get those little clips, just take it easy on those 2 because they get old and brittle. I found, you're supposed to squeeze both sides, kind of squeeze the little clip in, and then it'll just pop out, which is what I found. That wasn't real complicated on both of these clips for the electrical wire, for the electrical connector on this. And then, but what I found is if you just push one side of the clip, if you can just get a finger on one side of them, it's okay. You'll push one side in, and then that side will pop out, and then you can just kind of finagle it out. So you don't really need to squeeze even both sides. And then on the back side, kind of towards the front of the car when you're underneath there, There is a group of evaporative tubes that run across here for venting, and they've got rubber hoses on the end over here and an end over here, but in between those are solid tubes. And again, if you can just get back behind this thing, you just watch for those. There's another clip, and just, again, push one side of it and just get it kind of pop through. Those are a little more rigid, but you can just pull them. It's not super complicated. Again, I am not a mechanic. I don't rebuild engines. I don't do anything. But can I, replace a battery? Can I, put a new alternator in? Yeah, I could do that. And this is really simple. It's just pretty much bolt and go. So if you're having that issue, buy the box. It's called an evaporator or an evaporative canister, charcoal canister for the fuel system, and that's what you'll call and order when you call your Toyota dealership. And comes in a box, same thing. Unplug it, unscrew it, drop it, put the new one in, put it back in the same order. Life is good. We got gas going in. I'll show a picture of me filling the tank to show you it worked. Thanks for watching.